Okay, we're gonna start with a little myofascial release. So go ahead and grab, oh, I don't have my green ball actually. All right, sorry, we're gonna grab our green ball and have your block close by. So if you wanna take your other balls out of the block, you can, just so that they don't bother you. You know, actually, I got the green ball and no, we're gonna start with the green ball. Okay, green ball, lie down. You're gonna take the green ball and we're just gonna place it right behind where the neck and the shoulder come together. So if I've got this kind of triangle here, I take my fingers, I kind of grab from the trapezius. I'm just gonna go right kind of between my ear and my shoulder diagonally, right? If I went straight down, kind of right there with the ball. Now, this might feel good right here, and you might not wanna go any higher. You can place the block under your head if it's too intense. And if you want a little more, then you're gonna take the block and place it under your hips, right? And you can have it on any height. You got it on the low height, the middle height. And once you get here, you'll kind of lean yourself a little to the right, because I've got it under that left shoulder. And now from here, if it's too intense, you can move it up or down, but I'm just sitting a little bit between the space of the shoulder blade and the spine, right? So I'm not on the shoulder blade, not on the spine, kind of just tagging a lot of that meat right behind where the trapezius is, right? Behind that triangular shaped muscle at your neck and shoulder. Now from here, I'm just gonna make some arm movements, taking that left arm across the body, maybe up overhead, maybe out to the side, and maybe up and over across. But this kind of becomes something for you to play with and decide what feels good, what feels productive, what feels like it's a positive stress for the tissue here. So if there's any movements that you want to take with the arm, or maybe it feels good to just not move the arm. Maybe it just feels good to have it by your side, over the body. Now, we're going to take the ball and just roll it down maybe a half inch. So now I'm a little more between the shoulder blade and the spine, below the top of the shoulder blade, right? So before we were kind of maybe around the top of the shoulder blade or maybe even above it. Now we're just a little bit below the top of the shoulder blade and in between the blade and the spine. Now, I'm going to push into my feet so I can just get this little micro roll on the ball. I'm going to lower down because it's a little intense. So now I'm just kind of tilting my pelvis forward and back to roll out and kind of iron out the musculature that lives right on that inner border of your scapula. Getting some movement in there. And I've got my left arm just draped over my body so that I can move the scapula around and open up a space between it and my shoulder. I'm sorry, it and my spine, right? So I'm kind of moving the scapula wide so that there's more space and distance between the shoulder blade and the spine. So now you have more surface area to roll the ball on. And again, if it feels good and you want to move that arm at all. Good. And then we'll go ahead and take it out. Just rest, notice both shoulders on the floor. Notice if there's any difference from side to side. And we're gonna just take that ball and go on the right side. So again, I'm gonna kind of think of the diagonal line from my ear to my shoulder. And if I kind of cut that in half and went straight down, I should be somewhere just behind that triangular shaped muscle that lives from the neck to the shoulder. And I'm gonna still be slightly superior or above the shoulder blade top. Or maybe I'm just right around the top, right? So we're pretty high up, in between the spine and the shoulder blade. And for this one, I'm just gonna make a couple of little reaches across with my right arm, back out. Maybe even you wanna go up overhead. So this becomes a little self-exploratory. Take your time. The purpose here is to be able to really be able to breathe through all of this. So if your breath is short or tight or you feel like this is too intense, then take some steps back. Maybe lower the hips down, maybe put the block under your head. Maybe put a towel over the ball. But we want to be able to breathe here and feel some sense of relaxing towards the ball and allowing for our bodies to be heavy on the floor without a lot of tension and gripping. All right, now we're just gonna roll that ball down the space between the shoulder blade and the spine. So now I'm just a little bit below the top of my scapula. And I'm gonna do the same thing, kind of move my arm around here. And then I'm gonna just find a place that I can rest it for me so I can do those little tilts and roll the ball up and down the length of the spine. So again, I'm not going the whole way, I'm just going a few inches up, a few inches down, but we're running parallel to the spine. Now, if all of this is just way too intense for future use, you can always do this on the wall, and then you have a lot more control as to amount of pressure. All right, go ahead and reach back, take that ball out. Good. Go ahead and just keep your block, and if you have it under your head, place it under your hips. We're gonna just place it the low height, right? So I'm on that lowest height of the block. And go ahead and place your hips on the block, and then we're just gonna take the knees up into tabletop. So I should have a little bit of an elevation here for the hips. Now I'm just gonna start doing little taps to the floor. Good. Now I'm gonna really think about minimizing the space between my front ribs and the front of my hips, right? So can you draw those two things together as we're doing these taps? Now let's take the arms up to the ceiling, and we're gonna start to do opposite arm, opposite leg moving away from each other. So as I tap the left foot, right arm goes back, and then I'm gonna switch. As I tap the right foot, left arm goes back. So I'm kind of like a little bug on its back here, just moving the arms and legs. Feel that draw in around the waist, that support system holding everything in place. Let's go for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1. Both arms can just come back down by your side, legs together, and we're gonna flex back through the feet now, and you're gonna just tap both heels down to the floor and then pull them back up from that low belly. So here's where it really becomes important to keep that space between the bottom ribs and the hips the same, right? So as the legs go down, nothing changes about the distance here. I want to fire up the core, keep everything supported so that it's really just the legs from the thighs and the hips that are moving. Let's go for 7, 6, reach those fingertips, press down into the back of the triceps and the shoulders. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just take this back up into that tabletop position, and we're gonna extend the legs out across the room at that 45-degree angle, pull them back in. The legs go out and in. So again, this whole time, just keeping this whole wrapping and hugging action into the ribs so they feel like they're knitting together and they're sliding down into my front pockets. Here we go for 6, 5, 4, 3. Last one, hold those legs out somewhere you can manage. You're gonna just flex the feet, take the legs straight up and down. Straight up and down. And if you need a soft bend in the knees, soft bend in the knees. But again, we're not moving the spine. There's no arching. If you start to arch, then don't go so low with the legs. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Go ahead and bend the knees in, place the feet down on the floor, pick up the hips and move the block out from between the hips. And then you're gonna just take that block and squeeze it in between your thighs. So you can put it in the skinny way. And if it's really uncomfortable, you can wrap it in a blanket or you can grab a ball. But from here, we're just gonna do some bridging, squeezing the block. So we're gonna lift the hips, keep the block in between the thighs, and lower down. And again, you can adjust the block and have it wherever is comfortable. I just wanna continue to have that feeling of hugging in and squeezing into the block. Let's try to do a little bit of articulation here and rounding the spine on the way up and rounding the spine on the way down. Good. Really thinking about each movement kind of being independent with the spine, the vertebrae, each lifting kind of on its own, but at the same time, how they all work together. Right? So even though we're trying to get a little separation here, we're also recruiting them all as a team. All right, let's go for 6. 5. Push down into those heels. 4. 3. 2. 1. Hold your weight up at the top. Front ribs knit in, hips lift, right? Pubic bone curls towards your belly button. Press down into your right foot. Extend that left leg out straight. Just holding here. We're going to do little squeezes of the butt up, up, little squeeze, little squeeze. Right cheek should be squeezing. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place the left foot down. Press all your weight into the left foot. Feel that shift to one side, but stay centered. Here's that little squeeze up, up, up. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place that right foot down. Both hips up and down. No feet on the floor. Little pulses. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now from here, we're just going to swivel hips from left to right. Left to right. Still squeezing that block. Just a little hip dip on each side. Here's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1. Back to center. Slow roll all the way down. Remove the block. Bring yourself into like a happy baby position, so you can either grab for the back of the thighs or the bottoms of the feet or the shins and pull the knees down towards the floor on either side of your ribs. Let your lower back round, let your tail tilt up. Maybe just rock back and forth a little bit on that sacrum and low back. All right, we're gonna grab for the back of the thighs. We're gonna get a couple of rolls on the spine here, but I want you to try to find that control where you can balance on your sit bones, roll back, balance on your sit bones, roll back. Because we're gonna add on, you're gonna roll up, and then I'm gonna twist my chest to the left and my knees to the right. Center, roll back down, other side. Knees go to the left, chest goes to the right. Center. So if you need to, you can always put your feet down on the floor, but otherwise try to hover them. We're not here for long, but I just want to get a few on either side. So we're rotating each way, changing from side to side each time. Trying to get some contact with the low back as you do that roll. Good. Do 2 more on each side. So here's 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Last round, 1 more to the left, 1 more to the right. Good, last one, coming up to just stay in center. Grab the back of the thighs, lift your chest, keep your feet up, Lift the belly up the thighs so it feels like you're not rounding back, but you're sitting up tall on those sit bones. Now go ahead and just release the arms. See if you can reach for your heels. Give yourself just 3, 2, and 1. Cross those ankles, roll over onto your hands and knees. Give yourself a couple of cat-cows here. Rounding the back, lengthening. Good, just maybe 2 more like this. Last round. Good, tuck your toes, round your spine a little bit, and just cover your knees here and step it back into a plank position. Holding your plank, start to turn your chest forward. Lengthen that tail towards your heels. Start to draw your arms back. Good, shift your weight back towards your heels, forward over your wrists. Back towards your heels and forward. Here we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it back. Here's your little pulses. Stay low. Pushing those hands forward. Maybe even feeling like you're dragging those thumbs towards each other. Here's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straight into the legs, pedal the feet. Just switching side to side. Take a moment there, stretch out the back of the leg. Press the hands down and forward. Really start to let your chest come back towards your thighs, but then can you knit those ribs back in? Draw those front ribs in towards the spine. All right, we're gonna take that right leg up and back. Square the hips up with the floor. Keep the right hip pointed to the ground as you lift that inner thigh from the right leg. Take one more breath and reach it back like someone's dragging your heel back. And then go ahead, shift forward, touch that right knee to the right elbow, step the foot between the hands, lower the left knee to the ground. Okay, so wriggle the right foot out just enough that you can place your hands on the inside of that right foot. Now, have your hand weights close by, okay? So if those are not somewhere close to the front of your mat, go ahead and grab them and bring them in, but just let your hips fall to the floor. So turn your right toes just slightly at an angle, maybe just towards that right corner of the mat, and then the knee is gonna follow, right? And now I'm gonna be able to turn my chest towards that right thigh, keeping the hips angled towards the ground, and I'm gonna reach down for this right weight, hand weight. Now I'm gonna bend this right elbow in towards my ribs, and I'm just gonna punch it up to the ceiling and pull it in. Punch it up, pull it in. So just staying still with the body here. To start with, we're just staying in a little bit of a twist, cinch in your core, just moving that arm. Good. Here's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to drop that straight arm back towards my back leg, bring it all the way forward, rotate my chest, tap the floor. Pick it up, slow rotation, reach it all the way back. Slowly bring that arm all the way forward, tap the floor, turn the chest. Good. Here's 8. So you can move at a quicker speed if you feel like your spine is completely supported here. If it feels precarious at all, then take it really slow. Here's 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1, hold it back, little lift here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that hand forward, set the weight down. Turn your hips towards the ground. Wiggle that right foot back into center and just start to straighten into that right leg. You can flex back on the toes. And we're just going to fold over that right thigh. So you can really drop the head and chest towards the thigh, or if it feels good, you can lengthen out the spine and continue to reach the top of the head towards your toes. Sit bones moving back. Right sit bone down towards the floor. Take a couple more breaths here. Good. One more big inhale, exhale. Trying to let the back of the leg go. Good. Place that right foot down. Bring those hand weights close by. Get yourself into this kind of marriage proposal position, right? Both knees kind of have a 90-degree bend. And we're going to take that left arm up and over the ear. So side bending over to the right. And you can keep your right arm on your thigh. Maybe you want to bring your hand onto your block. If you've got the block close by, you can always bring that right hand on the block. And just take a couple breaths here. Try to find a place you feel supported so that you're not just hanging out in the air. So if that's hand on the floor, hand on the block, elbow on the thigh. Take just maybe one more big breath. Good, come back up. Grab for those hand weights, tuck the back toes. And now from here, we're just gonna take those arms and bring them thumbs up as we press all the way up with that left leg straightening. And then you're gonna come down like you're gonna tap and leave the floor. If it doesn't go all the way down, that's okay. If you can tap the floor, go for it. I'm just gonna bring my hands to my hips and up to shoulder height. I'm gonna try to bring that left leg all the way straight. So that back leg's trying to lengthen back. Good. Let's go for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it up. Just take those arms out to a T, back into center. Out and in. You can do little pulses here with the legs. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and tap the floor with the hands on either side of that right foot. Left leg bends, then come all the way up. Punch it to the sky. All the way down, tap. All the way up, punch. Here's 8, 7. Try not to grip your toes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Place those hand weights down, hands on the floor, step yourself back to plank, look forward, hold your plank, shoulders down, drag the hands back energetically, tail to your heels. Good, nice and slow. Roll a little bit forward, lay the knees down. Let's do our chaturanga push-ups. Elbows into the ribs, push yourself back up. Take it down slow. Don't go too fast. Let's make it a 1, 2 down, 1, 2 up. All right, here we go for 6, 5, 4. You can have your heels in or out. 3, 2. Last one. Good, all the way to the ground. Press the tops of the feet down, reach the hands back, just curl the heart up. Keep lengthening as you pick those pinkies up. Now get the crown of the head reaching forward, lift from the inner thighs of the legs. Try to relax the glutes a little bit. One more big breath here, just holding. Exhale, hands come down, curl the heart up, press into the palms, squeeze the elbows in. See if you can lift your pubic bone even off the belly or off the floor. And then send your hips back, child's pose. Take a breath, one more. All right, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog, pedal the feet. Slow pedal back and forth. Okay, left leg inhales up and back. Just keep the hips square. Turn the hips to the floor. Lift from that inner left thigh. And I want you to feel like someone's reaching your heel back by dragging your leg back. Press your hands forward. Take one more inhale, exhale here. Good. Knee comes forward. Squeeze it to that left elbow. Hold it. Hold it. Step in between the hands. Lower the right knee. Wiggle the foot out to the side. Just let your hips fall towards the floor for a couple of breaths. Try and find some openness to the front of the hips here and the outer glutes. All right, just turn the left toes slightly towards that left corner. So now I've got a little bit of a diagonal here. Make sure this right arm feels super supportive, because now you know we're gonna be moving that left arm. So I'm gonna turn my body towards this left leg, but I wanna watch that this right shoulder is not kicking up into my ear and creating tension in my neck. Pressing into my right hand. Now we're gonna grab for that left hand weight, keeping the chest turned toward your left thigh. I'm gonna bend my elbow into my ribs, punch it to the sky. Bend it in, push it up, down, and up. Here we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna take that hand, reach it back towards the back foot. Then you're gonna swing it all the way up and forward, tap the floor as you rotate the chest to the ground. Up and back, slow rotate and reach. All the way forward, bring that nice big rainbow. Now, just make sure you're not doing all this twisting in the low back. I really wanna see that rib cage make this turn. There's 7. Make sure you're cinching in that core to support your back. 6. If it's too much with the weight, drop the weight. 5, 4. This weight is getting heavier. Here's 3, 2. Last one, we got these little pulses. Take it back, hold that arm, little pulse up. Here's 10, 9. You can always turn to look forward if it's too much on your neck. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Bring those hand weights down on either side. Wiggle that left foot back into center and start to shift your hips back to straighten that left leg. Now you can flex on the toes. Again, hand weights are kind of close by for when we come into that lunge position. Now, you've got your block. Have it close by for when we do our side bend. But first, we're just gonna lean forward with the chest, draw back from the sit bones. So I want you to feel this like opposition, right? Head reaching forward, tail lengthening back. And when you're ready, if you want to round over the left leg, you can, but keep that left sit bone tilting down towards the floor. Try not to let it hike up. Just 2 more breaths. Okay, slide that left foot in. So now you should have that stacked knee over heel, stacked hip over knee. Now you can rest that left arm on the left thigh as you bring the right arm up and over, side bending to the left. Maybe you want to reach for your block. You can have it on any height here. But I want to make sure this feels really lined up. I don't want you to be way back arching. I don't want you to be way forward rounding. But can you get this to be a true lateral bend, right? Coming from the side. Maybe just maybe 2 more big breaths here. Keep reaching through those right fingertips, right? Don't let that arm be lazy. It's tight, I'm sure, it feels a little bit restricted, but keep that feeling of intentional reach. One more. Good, slowly coming back up, right? You have the block, move out of your way. Reach down to grab for those hand weights and tuck the back toes. Okay, so palms are gonna face forward this time, so that when we press all the way up, hands come up to shoulder height, right leg reaches back, and then we're gonna tap back down, hands come towards the floor. Reach that right leg back. So I'm trying not to let this be a back bend, but more of an opening of the hip. So see if you can keep that tailbone heavy to the floor. Here we go for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it up. Arms go wide and together. Wide and together. Now, if you want to add the little pulses, there's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to hinge forward. We're going to tap the floor with the weights. Come all the way up. Punch it to the sky. Palms can face in now. As we go down and up. Here's 8. Try to bring that pubic bone up with you so it curls forward as you come all the way upright. Tailbone goes down. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. Put the hand weights down. Step yourself back to your plank. Hold your plank here. Keep those hand weights by your side. So we're going to use them when we come onto our bellies. Lower the knees. Hands go wide this time for your push-ups. Now again, you can always do these on your toes. If you're ready to level up, you don't have to drop to your knees for your push-ups. But I also would say, stay on your knees if you feel like you sag through your low back for these. Here we go, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way down to the belly. Good, grab for the hand weights, take the tops of the feet onto the floor, and just take the thumbs back to point down, curling the heart forward. Okay, so we're not gonna lift very high. I want you to feel your tailbone heavy, your low back open as you press into the pubic bone here. Now we're just gonna lift those hands up and up. So I'm gonna try to keep it moving from my hip height and up. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Little bend and reach. Little bend, reach. Here's 8, 7, 6, really small bend. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, right down. Take those hand weights out to the side with you. Elbows are in by your ribs. Now, if you want to rest your forehead on a block or relax your upper body, you can. Otherwise, we're just going to lift the hands only. So keep those elbows right where they are. Hands come up and down. So I've got a 90-degree bend in my elbow. I'm squeezing my arms into my ribs. They're not moving. I'm just lifting my hands up so that I'm getting a slight external rotation in the arm bone. So the arm bones aren't lifting and lowering. They might just be rotating a little bit up. Just rotating out. Here's 5, 4. I want to feel this in the back of the shoulder blade. 3, 2, 1. Good job. All right, press yourself back through to child's pose. Rounding the back, letting the belly rest. Take a breath here. One more big inhale. And exhale, good. Plant the hands, send the hips up and back, down facing dog, pedal the feet. Really push those hands forward, the chest back, draw the front ribs in. And I almost think of my arms doing this external rotation, like I'm opening 2 jars with my hands towards the pinky side of my hand. Right? So even though my arms aren't going to actually move on my mat, or my hands won't move on my mat, the energy is just spiraling outward with the upper arms. All right, right leg's going to come up and back. Inhale. Exhale, take it across that left elbow. Hold it there. Give me 3, 2, 1. Now send that right foot out to the left. You're on the outer edge of your foot. Support yourself there as you pivot onto the ball or the inside of that left foot and lift that arm for this little supported side plank here. You've got this foot down to help you. Try to press up and lift. Good. Bring it back down. Just keep your foot there. Can you turn your hips down a little bit? Find that stretch. Good. Bring the knee back into the chest. Step it forward. Make sure those hand weights are in front of you as you come up to warrior 2. Okay, so just have this alert close by. Good. Bend that right knee. Trying to get it to point right over that second toe. Good. We're just going to do a couple of little side bends here, so side to side. Hips are going to stay pretty steady. Good. Just giving me maybe 2, 1. All right, from here, we're just gonna grab one hand weight. You're gonna straighten that right leg and wiggle that left foot in enough that you can come into triangle pose. So if your knee gets locked out, you can always soften it if you feel like you hyperextend. But now watch, I'm gonna just lean to the side, right? I'm keeping the legs the same. The pelvis is coming with me. I'm hinging deeply at this right hip. Now come as far over as you can, and then maybe this right hand can rest somewhere on the shin below the knee. Okay, I don't want to be on my knee here. Now if it's accessible, you can also grab your block and have your hand on your block. But I want to use my core, so don't rely too much on the arm. All right, this left arm is going to reach forward in front of you. We're going to drop it down towards this right hand, and then all the way back and open. Down towards the right hand, all the way back and open. Good. Here's 8. Just keep pushing into that back heel, that left heel, and that left outer edge of the foot. Here's 5. 4, I'm not really twisting, I'm just letting my arm really reach across the body. 3, 2, 1. Right hand gets the weight, now it's gonna float. Left arm at your hip, or you can put that left arm at your ear, but we're gonna do these little side pulses. So I'm pulsing from this left oblique as I hold the weight and let it slide down the shin. Here's 7, cinch that belly in. 6, tails tilting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last bit of hold. Left arm over your ear, reach. Good job. Come all the way back up. Turn yourself to the front, place that hand weight down, straddle either side of that right foot. And then from here, we're just gonna pause here in this kind of attempted runner's lunge, right? Or this ability to, like, we're gonna go forward. I wanna get that weight in that right foot. And we're gonna reach that right hand all the way out in front. And then you're just gonna bring that left knee into tap, step it all the way back. Bring that left knee in and tap the ankle, reach the right hand out. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Step that foot all the way back to the back of the mat. Now from here, I'm just going to take my right knee and place it right behind my right ankle. I'm sorry,
my right knee right behind my right wrist. Now you can wiggle that left foot back. I'm coming in a pigeon. So I want this right foot pretty close to my hip. I'm gonna have a pretty good bend in my knee here. And I'm gonna square my pelvis towards the front of my mat. Now you can untuck your toes once you feel like your weight is back in your hips, right? I don't want my weight to be forward in my knee, but I want to feel like I kind of got this center where I could even pick up my hands and I have no pain here in my knee and my shin. Now slowly come onto the forearms and see if you can turn that left hip down. My goal is to feel the stretch in the outer right hip and thigh, maybe a little bit even in the right inner thigh. It's going to take a breath or two here. Now you can stay here, or if you want to go for a little rotation, you're going to just walk your right hand out with a little kickstand and take that left arm under and see if you can bring your left ear to the floor. Now I can use this right hand to help my rotation if it feels within reach. All right, if you're in the twist, slowly come out of it. Take one last breath here in pigeon. If you have any desire to bend the back knee and grab for that back foot, you can, and stretch out that quad. Good, wherever you are, we're gonna release the back foot, press down to the hands, lift your hips with your belly and your thighs to get that right leg to then slide all the way back, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. All right, last side. That left leg inhales up and back. Exhale, bring it over to that right elbow, hold it, pick it up, and then send that left foot over to the right, rotate your whole body and lift your hips. I'm on the outer edge of my left foot, the whole bottom of my right foot is on the floor. I'm gonna keep lifting, pressing into everything that's making contact with the ground. One more big breath. Good, now just bring your hand down, pivot onto the right toes, and just turn your hips to the floor and feel that stretch in the outer left hip. Good, slide it in, step it forward, we're coming up warrior two. So remember those hand weights are somewhere you can grab them. Warrior two, left knee now over that second toe, right thigh slightly rotated in. I got a lot of pressure in the outer right edge of my foot. And we're just gonna do some of those side bends with this dancing warrior side to side. Just a few here. We'll go for two. Just feeling that side support. One and one. All right, so here we go with straightening that left leg, walking the right foot in. You can grab for one hand weight. Now I've kind of got a heel to arch alignment here for the feet. So I don't know if you've got yours wider or the same, but just kind of check that maybe this front heel is gonna go back and be close to that arch on the back leg. So here's that hinge, right? I'm gonna hinge forward from that left hip. Now I've got both sides of the body feeling pretty long, and I can take that left hand to my shin. My right arm's gonna reach down towards my left hand. And again, I'm really letting my shoulder blade protract around the body. Then I'm gonna pull it all in and reach the hand up. So I let the arm drop, protracting the shoulder blade. Then I pick up the arm and retract the shoulder blade towards the spine. So make sure that all of that stuff is happening together, right? I want to try to use as little momentum as possible, so I'm trying to fire up the deltoids, the rhomboids, everything in the backside of the shoulder to work here. And then I've got an eccentric contraction going down, so we're slowing it on the way down. If you need a micro bend in that left knee, go for it. Good, here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that weight into your left hand. Here's those little pulses. Feeling this in that right oblique. Here we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you just hold it here? Take that right arm over the ear. Find that last big side lengthening. Good. Bring it in. Take that hand weight down. Turn yourself towards the floor. Bring the hands out a little in front. So again, you're just kind of shifting your weight forward into that left foot so you can feel when it's time for us to just pick up that right leg. Left arm reaches forward, and here we go. Tapping that ankle, stepping it back. Tapping the ankle, stepping it back. Stay low in that left leg. Here's 7. Try not to rest on the thigh. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Go ahead and place that hand down. Take that left knee and bring it right behind your left wrist. So again, this left foot can come back as much as you need to. Now I wiggle my right toes back. So I just really move all my weight back into my hips and not forward into my knee. If you need to set your block under your hip, if your hip is really high in the air, you always can. But again, I want to feel like I could walk myself back and take my hands up and then I don't have any pain or pressure in my left knee. All right, coming on the forearms, we're going to turn that right hip towards the floor. So I untuck my back toes, and then I'll push into all 5 toes here, especially the pinky side, to really square my pelvis to the ground and accentuate that left hip stretch. Take a few breaths here. Trying to let go of any gripping or tension in the hip or in the thigh. Now you can stay here and just keep breathing. You can take the rotation. So that's where I'm going to reach my right arm under, rest my right ear to the floor. This left arm can be like a kickstand that just helps to deepen a little bit of that rotation. Good. Now if you're in the twist, come back to center. And if you want to bend the right knee and reach for the foot, you can. Otherwise, just stay where you're at. Take another breath or 2. Good. Release that back foot to the floor. Press back up onto your palms. Now tuck those back toes under you. Lift your hips with your legs and your belly. Then pick that left leg up. Step it to the back of the mat. Good. Pedal the feet. All right, we're going to come all the way to the belly to just do our chest stretch here. So shift yourself forward into your plank. Maybe you make your way all the way to your belly with a chaturanga on your toes. And then we'll take the right arm out to the side. Roll onto that right side. Stretch the front of the shoulder. Press into the palm. Maybe you can even lift the forearm and just have the hand on the floor. The shoulders up, the forearms up. And then through center. Other side. So again, maybe that left hand's on the floor only, and you keep the forearm and the shoulder and everything else up as you press into the palm and turn the body to the right. Take one more breath. And then come all the way back to center. Press yourself back onto your knees. Tuck your toes underneath you. See if you can get your thighs together, maybe the big toes close together. So you can get the pinkies underneath. And then we'll just sit back. So if this is too much, you can always sit forward. Otherwise, try to send yourself back, get your body weight back. And see if you can just sit here for just maybe a couple of breaths. Just taking nice full breaths. Trying to move the ribs wide. One more big inhale, exhale. All right, come forward. Just untuck the toes and tap the tops of the feet on the floor. And release circulation back in the toes. All right, good work, you guys.
Great job.